Welcome back. He had the honour of kicking off this year's London Fashion Week with a show inspired by James Joyce's Ulysses, launching red-headed models down the catwalk in tweed and heavy knits. Designer Paul Costello showed why, after more than 5 decades in the fashion business, he still senses the mood of the times. At 77, if I may say so, he has a time-honoured work ethic. And since he doesn't regard Sunday as a day off, he joins me now. Lovely to see you. And
good to see you.
Looking there at your most recent designs, I mean, I immediately... They're women's clothes, but I immediately see how they could be worn. I immediately see their elegance. I see the cut of them. You are producing clothes that people can just about imagine themselves wearing, if they could afford them. And that's different from many of your colleagues and rivals. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm a tailor. I love fabrics. My father had a factory in Dublin, and I was brought up in that background of cut and sew, and I respect it. It's not a gimmicky career. It's very relevant. And then, having lived in Italy, lived in Paris, lived in New York, I got schooled reasonably well.
When did you feel that you had broken through? Because presumably many people start with a life story like yours, but not many climb the ladder.
Well, I think it's just stamina, Michael. You probably understand that more than me. It's just staying on the horse. I always compare myself to a Grand National jockey. As long as you stay on, at least before they lower the fences, you would generally get within the top 5 or 6. So that was my process, and kind of just learning to take the hits and recuperating quickly.
Did luck play a part? Was there a moment where someone spotted you, or you were in the right place at the right time?
God, unfortunately, no. Nobody really spotted me. I think I just shoved myself because I wasn't a typical fashion designer. I came from a very large family of 7, brought up in Dublin in a big old mansion with tennis courts and croquet lawns. So it was a different environment. So I started off in sort of comfort to a certain extent. And then, having moved to Paris, I was struggling terribly. I was way below the standards. But I kept going, and I'm very grateful to Paris and to Milan for giving me that values of quality. And as a man of such great dress and standards, you would appreciate that. You know, you won't find that jacket or those trousers in Marks and Spencer's.
I don't know whether you're pulling my leg, but tell me about your latest show, inspired by Ulysses.
Exactly. James Joyce, Dublin.
100 years old. It was written 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah, at least. But he, having grown up in Dublin and having that kind of humour when Dublin was a great fun city where it was all mysterious and dark and badly lit streets and boulevards that nobody walked on in case they got tripped or killed or robbed, but it was a special city, and with a lot of characters and personalities, and it was nothing to do with wealth. It was to do with alcohol, which is something I treasure. I'm sure that's so incorrect, but and womenizing, and generally all the rules were broken, and in a way that's what this collection reflects people enjoying themselves, enjoying their clothes, and having fun. And I think we've forgotten.
I believe that one of the reasons you look as good as you do in your 8th decade is that you cycle a lot.
I do. I cycle. I don't always love it, particularly with certain cars coming in on top of you. I had a couple of falls. I fell on, at least on the Fulham Road, so it's a good street to fall on, outside the Westminster Hospital. I'm
sorry to hear that, but do you see things from your cycle that you might not see if you were confined in a car, do you think?
Well, absolutely. I think you do notice, and I look at the people crossing the road. I look at the shops on the King's Road. I cycle through Knightsbridge, look at the comfort of the people there, and then I go through Hyde Park, where I dream again about nature, daffodils coming back, which they are at the moment, and it's a treasure. And when I was growing up, I wanted to be a cowboy, but so the nearest thing is a bike, because I wasn't allowed to study agriculture because I didn't have the necessary points. Otherwise, I'd been out in the Midwest somewhere at this point.
Oh, there we are. So luck has played an extraordinary part in your life. But tell me this:
not having a choice, Mike,
yes,
that's the secret. Some people have got too much talent. Like you know, you're a politician. You've done this, you've done that. You're now a travelling Roman soldier.
Yeah, I do all that. Yeah.
And I think you had a choice. I had no choice.
No,
you could either paint or be a fashion designer.
And tell me now, why, after 50 years in the business, why do you want to go through the strain and the hassle of doing 2 shows a year?
2 shows a year, and particularly this one was really tough. And I went way over budget because I had 54 outfits instead of normally 40. And I like the challenge. I still think I'm quite good, and I'm not going to allow somebody else to take my space. Very similar, Michael.
Yeah. No, I'm still cluttering up this sofa as well. No, very good. And I think you're pretty good too, Paul, so thank you very much.
Well, I think you're very good too.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on GB News. That is Paul Costello.